Hi, this is Terry Draper from Klaatu.
I'm Brendan O'Hare. I used to be in Teenage Fan Club.
Hey, this is Tyler Green.
Owen Radford.
Tino Troy from Praying Mantis.
Lanny Flowers.
I'm Frankie Siragusa, and you're tuning in to Unlikely Places Pop and Rock Radio Show with Vinyl Man Jeb.
You're listening to Mad Wasp Radio.
This is your host, Vinyl Man Jeb, of the Unlikely Places Pop and Rock Radio podcast and radio show on Mad Wasp Radio, and also the podcast here on Anchor and YouTube. You're tuning in to CURT VANCE. I'm here with another, now I can say it, Mad Wasp Radio host himself, CURT VANCE of Pop Overdose. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem. I wanted to just start off right off the bat. Let's just get right into the hard-burning question. What made you start Pop Overdose?
Well, I started Pop Overdose back in 2007, and basically it was I needed somebody to talk to music about. I had just lost my twin brother, and he was the guy I always talked about music. You know, every time I heard something new, it's like I would always call him and say, "Hey, have you heard this yet?" And he'd do the same, and I was actually kind of lost. And I started Pop Overdose as a blog back then for a way to share music with people and for people to share music with me. And it was a pretty good way, you know, for me to get past losing my brother, and then be able to still share music. And I found that there's a bunch of people out there that really like the same kind of stuff I like.
Yeah, I mean, your group started a lot for me. I think that's how I met Michael Collins of the Finns and some other very cool power pop names. And it was just through your group, and I've always been a big fan of the group, and I see all the time, like, welcome new members of the group, and I look at who they are, and I'm like, I know that person, they're in the group now.
Yeah, it's really so cool. Like, the guy from Bram Tchaikovsky is like, hey, I want to be in your group. Cool,
Oh, yeah,
you're
definitely.
a hero of mine when I was a kid, you bet.
I mean, even Jim Bassnight dropped your name in an interview I just did with him as well, without even me saying it first. He was like, a good buddy of mine, Curt, actually showed me your show, and I was like, really? I know that guy.
Right.
I said,
well, I used to sneak in to see Jim Bassnight in the Moberly's when I was a kid in Seattle.
That's awesome.
I was 15 years old, and I'd heard about this great Jim Bassnight in the Moberly's, and I think maybe he was 19 or 20 at that time, but now we're like old
pure
men.
Power pop gold. Oh, I just was like listening to a couple.
Yeah.
They're just like the Nerves and all of that, the Plimsouls.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that was awesome interviewing him and actually getting kind of he told me his whole story from start to finish. I didn't even expect.
Oh yeah,
I asked one question.
He had a great story.
I was like, hell, I didn't even need to ask anymore, and I loved every moment of it. I was just like a little kid in a candy store, except this is the music store. The candy is the interview, and I was just like shaking like how cool this was. And it's just an awesome story. And I was thinking about, we believe it or not, guys, this was a podcast that was supposed to happen a while ago back. We went to go record, and the lovely technology brought us back to record again. But we talked so much, on, and that was before you were radio host on Mad Wasp. How's that been going now that you are?
It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm used to being able to take as much time as I want, and now I've got to compress everything into 1 hour.
Oh, yeah.
But it is kind of neat. It's kind of neat to hear yourself on the radio, although, it's a pretty good time, a pretty good day if I was living in England.
Yeah.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning, which is great. Go out, wash your car or whatever.
Perfect. Yeah.
But it's 5 a.m. here in Chicago, right? So, But, of course, my ego doesn't let me not wake up and hear it on the radio, right? So.
That is awesome. Now you got to get up early on the... So, like, for me, I think I got lucky. I got, 1 p.m. in the afternoon on Wednesdays, and it was perfect. And it just was something I was happy to be part of, because it's evening for them over there, which is the evening radio. Right. I think it's 5 p.m. So it's perfect both ways, and I was like very, very honored and surprised. But as of late, I went to go send a show in, and they know. Like, I was like, I was so happy to send a show in. They were listening in, and they helped me even sound 10 times better. They fixed one of the things. They replaced the song that was kind of it was a vinyl rip of Bentwind. Which will be upcoming on the upcoming show, and they put a better version in, and I was like, thanks, no problem, because I must have recorded the album myself, because I have no evidence of having it on the computer, so I was like, I must have did a vinyl rip in my files, so it was cool that they did that for me. So Mad Wasp is a great company, and it's just been really cool to be part of that, and glad to be amongst a lot of cool friends, like the Ice Cream Man is on there too, which is really cool. Now there's three Power Pops, Well,
absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely. So
it's much needed.
Wayne's on there too. great show, and I love listening to him. He's kind of like the grandfather of the Power Pop podcast or radio show or whatever it is. He pretty much started that back in 2010 or somewhere around there. So he's like the go-to guy when it comes to radio and stuff like that.
When I asked him, I said like my hero Wayne. I said to him, I said, I was I'm excited to be on Mad Wasp with you. You're my hero. And he goes, I'm not that cool. And I was like, he's so humble, and it's so cool that he's inspired a lot of us, and it's insane.
Yeah, he's a pretty good guy. Anytime I need help, he'll help.
So you started the Power Pop Overdose Facebook group. How long has that been running for? I know we talked about that just briefly.
That's only been running a couple of years. I basically started to go hand in hand. I can't even speak today. Hand in hand with my Power Pop Overdose podcast, which I started. I put Power Pop Overdose on a hiatus for a while my kids were kind of growing up, and my kids no longer need me, so I was looking for something to do. So I started the Power Pop Overdose podcast back in 2019, and I started the Power Pop Overdose Facebook page just as a way for everybody to know that, hey, I'm back, and this is where you can hear it, and then, hey, share some music with me, and I'll share some music with you. It's kind of a fun thing. And there's a lot of great people in it. Jeff Shelton from the Well Wishers, Gary Ritchie from one of my favorite bands from way back in the early 80s. Lots of really great guys in that.
There's a lot of really big names too. Like I think the Flaming Groovies page joined at one point. I was like, what? Oh, this is awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's so cool that it's just that love of power pop, right? And all these artists share, and then the fans get to kind of hang out and
kind of hang out and talk. I'd like people to be more talkative on it and share more and everything else, but I'm not going to beg them.
Get down on your knees like, please share the power pop.
No, but there are some really great. There's a lot of fantastic guys that hang out there in the power pop world. Ed Ryan from the Rudies. He's such a great guy, and his last few albums have just been magnificent.
Yeah, he sends me them as soon as they come out. He sends them to the show, and it's like, oh, so good.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Rich Rossi. I don't know if you know Rich Rossi, but he's a great friend. Yeah, he's a great friend of John Wick's. He just put together 2 years ago a really great tribute album to John Wick's, and he wrote a bunch of tunes, and he and Jamie Hoover from the Sponge Tones put together this fantastic album. If you haven't heard it, you need to.
I will definitely check that out. That's why I'm here. I'm gonna Sponge Tones sponge over here. I'm trying to learn more and absorb all the stuff that's been mentioned. I have to check that out as well. I know the names. I know mostly because, again, being part of the Big Stir family of radio hosts, you hear all the names all the time and just the music. So it's like I gotta check all this stuff out. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Sponge Tones for sure. You got to check out. That's old school power pop, early 80s stuff that is just fantastic stuff.
I love all that stuff. Like Jim Bass Knight, actually, I didn't realize how much he sounds like the Nerves, and I've been addicted to the Nerves for a long time, and Plimsoul, stuff like that. So I've been digging into Jim's music more and more after the interview. It was funny. It was actually more after.
The Plimsouls have been on heavy rotation since I bought their first album when it was released.
That's awesome.
And it's never gone off a heavy rotation. So Jim Bass Knight's first album is I bought that too. I remember riding my motorcycle. I was 15 years old, riding it down to Tacoma to go to Tower Records, and I had that thing tucked under my arm riding home. I just couldn't wait to get home to hear that thing.
Rip open the plastic and just get going.
Oh,
that feeling.
Awesome.
I wish record stores were more like, I don't know, the old style, because there was a whole community to it. Now you go to a record store, and there's somewhat of a community, one or two guys hanging out, and, girls too, just, talking records and stuff. But it's not like it used to be where it was the hot spot for socialization after school, like, that's where you went, and I wish it was more like that. Now it's, I play Magic the Gathering, I think I mentioned before when we were last playing, so I go to the card shops, and that's kind of old school to me, because everybody's playing, these games with cards and tabletop stuff. And you're hanging out with a bunch of nerds, and I'm a nerd, so I'm happy. Like it's perfect.
we're all nerds,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of us, as cool as we think we are, we're not.
It's true. It's a great way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, no, I remember going to record stores. I would have to plan it for the day. There was a great one here in the Chicago area called Crow's Nest, and I would have to plan my day at least at 3 or 4 hours set aside so I could just go through there, and you would go there and you'd smoke cigarettes, and, dig through all the albums and stuff like that, find stuff, and you talk to the guys that work there, and they're
awesome.
like, oh, well, if you haven't heard that, you need to hear this, and it was always really cool.
Just like high fidelity.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I just know the references. I like to reference things that I've never seen. No, I gotta see it though, because I was told that like my story was similar to the main guy's story, just what I've been going through, and they're like, "You would love this," and I'm just like, whenever somebody recommends me something, I'm like, I'll get to it, and then I'm like, with music, I'm right on it because I have access to it, but with like movies, it's tough because you have to find a channel that has it or a service that has it, and I don't have Netflix, so he doesn't have Netflix, but I don't.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
it costs money, man.
It does. And as a musician and radio host, believe it or not, I don't have that many funds. No, I buy Paramount Plus. I'm a Star Trek fanatic, so I've been trying to catch up on all that good stuff, watching Picard and all the new stuff. So that's where my money is going.
Yeah,
for $50
I'm a big
a year,
fan
I'm
of the
okay
original
with that.
series.
Oh, did you hear about Captain Kirk going to space?
Yeah, he's going to space.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah, that's going to be really
I read
cool.
an article yesterday. I think he said, "I'm going to be a rocket man." I believe that was his direct
which
quote,
is great reference to his
the guy's
cover.
He's like 92.
Yeah,
I'd be
nuts.
afraid to take him into space.
At the same time, though, like maybe he's like, "This is it. I want to die going to space."
Maybe.
I'm excited. I'm excited just to say that, like, hey, one of the captains of Star Trek has actually been to space. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I think it's a pretty cool thing that these guys are getting into private space travel. It cuts the cost down, right?
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
And eventually that cost will be lower for everybody who wants to do it. Personally, I don't go on submarines. I don't go on spaceships.
Yeah, right. If you're not going to go on one or the other.
Yeah. An airplane is about as much out of the atmosphere as I want to go. But there are people who want to do that. And, good for them.
Yeah, I've always like think about like, do I want to like I'm good. I mean, it's funny to me is like I love how much we need to fix Earth, but we're like, let's go to another planet.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
But it's no, I respect, like, again, I would love to see space, but I think it would be something like, I don't know, I wouldn't be, now I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay on the ground. I'm comfortable. I've just got used to, like, the ground, I just got used to walking on the ground. I don't think I need to go to space. But I am very excited to see Captain Kirk go up and be that, go where no man's gone before, except all the other astronauts. But
but you got to think that's just like a limited handful of people, really.
Really, it is.
Who've actually been to space.
Special few.
100, maybe 200, and you sit there and you think about how big is this great big world, right?
Yeah, it's
so that's truly just a handful of folks.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool that it's cool that it becomes an option for people that normally wouldn't get the chance to, which I think is awesome. In the future, right. It'll be really cool. And I think again with the whole when Elon Musk did the SpaceX thing, I was very interested in that. I was watching since the start of that because I like space. I like space exploration. I like any of the I just to dream that there's something else out there. Aliens.
I think we'd be yeah. I wonder.
Yeah.
There's got to be something else out there, right?
I believe.
But
X-Files, I want to believe.
And again, I've never seen the X-Files either. Shame on me.
Nah, that's all right.
So
can't see
I like Star Trek, the original series, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Oh, have you seen what is it, Under Decks or Below Decks?
I was watching the first couple episodes. I didn't get into it quite. I'm gonna try to give it another shot. Maybe
it grows on you. I really enjoy it.
Is it like it's the same guy from Solar Opposites, right? And also Rick and Morty. Is it the same creator? I have to check it out.
No, it's not. The artwork's a whole lot better.
Oh, cool.
I love Rick and Morty.
Yeah, Solar Opposites I was enjoying on Hulu. That was a good show. That one's I think the same creator as Rick and Morty.
Yeah. My son watched that. I like Rick and Morty,
Yeah.
but I can only take so much of the craziness that it is.
Hey, Rick.
Uh,
The fan base is worse. Oh no, I said it. They're gonna attack my podcast. But no,
Sorry. You can always edit that out.
yeah,
too.
right. Watch, I'll leave it in. I'll be like, yeah, I'll edit this out, edit this out, edit this out, and then leave it in. I've done that. I've gotten to the point where I'm like, oh, this episode's fine. It's an hour long. I'm good. I go to post it, and it's like, editor, edit this out. Oh yeah, I'm the editor. It was in the beginning.
Well,
of
on
this...
Mad Wasp, you got to throw in all those little
jingles
whatever
there.
you want to call
The
it, jingles
yeah.
and everything. So, I've got to work on better ones.
I have a few
some
that
of
I
them are
made
pretty
myself.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to work on a few myself, and some.
I was
going
gonna
to
do one for I was gonna do a Monty Python one. Surprisingly, they didn't have one, being a British radio station. I'm gonna probably get on that. I'd like to do a Life of Brian one, but I like that Mad Wasp. I just like it. It's cool. I did one where I sing about 6 jingles. I mastered them myself, mixed them myself, just acoustic guitar and me, and I did references to 2 of my songs, and then I just put "You're listening to Mad Wasp Radio," the main one. I did a donation one, and it came out so muffled, so I'm going to have to redo it. I must have, when I mastered it or something, it just went the other way that it needed to go. So I have to redo that one. It was
yeah,
weird.
well, I don't have a singing voice, so, but Bass Knight promised me he would do my theme song for me.
So, that's going to be awesome.
That will be pretty cool.
I'm thinking about getting one done, like an actual song done for the intro. Like, I'm doing it now for myself, but I might get maybe a local friend of mine or something, just to do something different. Right. Usually I have the little speaking intros, like, you're listening to, like, I did it based off the Disney Channel thing, where they're like, you're watching Disney Channel. So I was like, all right, we're going to do Unlikely Places. So you're listening to Unlikely Places, this is so-and-so, and I'm from this band, or I'm this person. But I've never actually, like, because I'd love to have somebody else do it, but then I'm, like, actually cutting myself out of the show, as I barely play my own music on there, because I've gotten so excited about playing others, which it becomes with the fun. You know, it gets boring if you play yourself all the time. But I do like to sneak one of my songs or 2 of my songs in there. Every, 1 per episode. I promise myself, like, 1 per episode, that's it. But I haven't really released much. All my good stuff, all my good music is on hold, and we're waiting until next year. So it's like, I have a new album coming out that I think is good, but it's very raw, and it's more like not radio show friendly. It's very not sweary or anything. It's just that something that I don't think would fit even my show. Like, it's just out there, raw acoustic talk, and it's just, I don't know, it's folk rock.
That's okay.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be,
all right.
I mastered it myself, so I'm pretty proud. But it's going to be something different.
Yeah.
I'll send you a copy once it's out.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, so
always love.
Yeah, I got a bunch of guys who do bumpers for me. I just asked, Ken Sharp just did one for me, and I threw that one on there. And Tommy Pluta from This Size just did one for me, which is super cool.
I could do one for you if you need one. I could always throw one in there. Just join the train, and then I'll have you do. We'll do a trade. I'll have you do one for mine too, and you could actually say your name on the show.
Absolutely.
We could do times, and we'll do that. Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Well, people don't want to hear me on your show, man. I don't think people want to hear me on my show.
No. I gotta catch it. I gotta wake up one of these days and just catch it, because I really do. I enjoy it, like, seeing that you're on there. I love it.
Yeah, it's hard to catch.
Hear it. Yeah. Well, you're posting on the SoundCloud, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
do
just
they do a
archive it
rerun of
after
your show?
Yeah, they do on Mondays, and then I'll archive it after that Monday show.
When is the rerun on Mondays? Like, what time?
Same time.
Oh, you gotta say. Ooh, you got it nice.
11 o'clock BST, man.
So you got it nice. Mine, I have to remember the times. It's 2 different times. I'm on Tuesdays, and I'm at like 5 a.m. on Tuesdays. Yeah. And then it's midnight for. It's actually 9 o'clock. Or it's midnight, I think, my time, and then whatever, the 5 GMT. But it's I know
it's +6 right now.
Yeah, it's it's hard to. And when I first came out with my show, for some reason I knew it was 5 hours, like that's what it was. But Google kept telling me it was a different thing.
It's actually 6.
It's 6,
it's
right?
+6 right now. Yeah, because they're in BST. They're in British summertime.
Yeah, it's all I remember is it's the same. It's the same time every time. As long as it's on the same time. My first ever episode, I forgot to I forgot the wrong time, so everybody tuned into some other guy's show. So I hope we got all my views. And I was like, that's cool. I said, everybody please stick an hour after. You'll actually hear me. I was like, I got the wrong time, but I never made that mistake again.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know the numbers. If anybody is listening to me, I'd be curious to find out. I'm still fairly new.
Yeah, they
with
usually
Mad Wasp.
they don't share the numbers, which is I respect, because it's kind of like you make then you're pushed to kind of make the same episode every time. But usually I just ask how did the show do, and they're like, yeah, did pretty well. So they usually give me like kind of because I understand why. I get it. It's so that they don't like, hey, you get 1 million views and this guy gets 1. You know, you don't want to do that. But
Well, I figure that when they say, "Well, we don't need you to do this any longer,"
the day I'm fearing,
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I got from Dee is that she loves the show, and
Good.
I play wonderful music. So and
it fits the radio. It fits it very well, because I think it needs more power pop. I'm just biased, of course, but I love it. I'm a little different. My show's it's power pop, but it's mostly it's a mix of everything. It's a variety,
right?
But it's variety of older rock. Like I'm throwing Zappa on my next show finally. I don't think I've played Zappa yet. I'm doing a Roxy live cut of Village in the Sun, Sun
Cool.
Village.
They do a great live version out there. Roxy, Viva Roxy music. Both Ends Burning is fantastic on that album too. So I love Roxy music.
Roxy's good. Yeah, and then Zappa live at the Roxy is what I was talking about with the
I thought you were talking Roxy.
No, they're good too though. Oh, they're awesome.
I love Frank Zappa live.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one with Chris Bazio? Is he still drumming for him?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think because Bazio was during Halloween. I have to look up it because the Roxy lineup is like the Last Mothers lineup. I think. I forget.
Yeah,
it's a real good show. Good music.
He always had the best musicians.
Oh yeah. Oh tight. Yeah, when I actually speaking of Roxy music, I think the bass player for a little bit was Sal Maida, and I met him recently. He was in Roxy music. Cool. I forgot about that. I'm thinking the Sparks, Sparks with him, but he was Roxy
Sparks,
music.
yeah.
I think.
See, yeah, you know me. I like it all.
Oh
right?
Yeah. I liked that the Sparks movie came out, and I saw that. And I'm one of those that everybody hates. Like, I don't know why people hate fans of their music, but whatever. Like, people hate when people become fans of the band that they've loved forever, and they're like, well, now it's cool to be fans of them because this guy's now a fan of them. I hate that guy now. But I don't...
Yeah.
It's like the comic book nerd in The Simpsons, but...
I'm not a bandwagon jumper.
Yeah.
If I hear something and I like it, I'm a fan.
That's me.
I don't care who else likes it. I'm not the guy who, I can remember in high school the kids that listen to disco because it was cool to listen to disco, right?
Yeah. And then...
I kind of went a different direction, although I will be honest with you, there are a few disco tunes that I really don't mind.
Yeah, who I like is like any of the I like certain disco but it's more of the funk side of it, like Casey and the Sunshine Band, stuff like that. Early, like when disco just started.
Yeah,
and then later I'm just like
I like Casey and the Sunshine. I'm a big soul guy, Yeah,
I love soul.
A big progressive guy. I love prog rock.
I love new soul.
Did you ever
hear
that?
Which one?
That Genesis. I think I sent you a link for a really awesome Genesis concert.
Oh
from
yeah,
1973.
Oh yeah,
amazing. That was amazing. Awesome.
Yeah, I remember. Now I remember. That was after our first time recording.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you get to see Peter Gabriel in all his glory, and Phil Collins, and
I like
that
the
was amazing.
One.
Tony Banks.
I don't think it was the same one. It might have been. I've seen a couple, but I like the one where they're doing Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, and they're doing. He dresses up as the flower. And he gets
the flower, that's a different one.
I saw that one. I saw yours as well, but I was like, I'm trying to remember which one was which. That one was nuts, and I'm like, I loved every moment of it.
Yeah, that guy's pretty. He was pretty bizarre. You look at him in the '80s and stuff like that, and the stuff that he sang and did in the '80s was nowhere near as bizarre as what he was with the Genesis in the '70s. So.
Yeah, he toned down a little bit, but then Fripp came involved.
Well, anytime Robert Fripp's involved in anything, right? You know what that is, right? So,
because that's the trio of albums. There's the I forget what albums they are, but it's Peter Gabriel, David Bowie's Heroes, Brian Eno, and then one other that Fripp's on.
Well, Yeah, you're talking Brian Eno. Now you're talking some pretty weird
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
You have to be in the right frame of mind to listen to that.
Oh, my dad had most of his records, and then my uncle wanted the whole. So my dad gave him all the King Crimson records, all the Brian Eno stuff, and then I got into them, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry." He's like, "Those are your uncle has those." I was like, that's all right." So I have everything in King Crimson except I cannot get Three of a Perfect Pair for cheap. I just need to buy it. Just buy it for like whatever $20 that it is. I just need to do it. So I have it. Because that's the only King Crimson I don't have in my vinyl collection.
But yeah, Phil Manzanera has an album too. He was a former guy with Crimson and stuff like that. 801 Live. That's the name of the name of the band is 801, and it's 801 Live, and they do some pretty fantastic stuff.
I'll have to check that out too.
Brian Eno's on that.
Ooh.
Bill McCormick, Simon Phillips, Lloyd Watson. There's somebody else I can't think of who's on that. It's an amazing lineup. Actually, I'll take care of you. I'll send that to you.
Right, sweet.
So that's an amazing lineup. Definitely a headphone album.
Put
on, sit back in your chair and
just
dig
zone out. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you just need those.
Hey, we all need them, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some of the Alan Parsons Pyramid is a great headphone album, right?
You know, it's a good headphone album that I don't really hear much about is Tubular Bells, Mike Oldfield.
Yeah,
it's a weird album. Like I didn't know how to, I just recently bought it.
It's pretty bizarre.
Yeah.
Mike Oldfield's 5 Miles Out is probably my favorite Mike Oldfield album.
I'm just
and it's really
him.
A great album.
Yeah, I'm just fascinated by what he did. It's not so much the sound of the album. It's not an album that I'm like gonna go to a party and be like, guys, I got this one. You know, but it's something that it's like, it's very an experience. And then I found out that Vivian Stanshall's on it, and I was like, oh, I like the Bonzo Dog Band. And it's like, it's interesting that I remember now the intro and the outro, the song where he goes Mike Oldfield on Tubular Bells. But I was just like, oh, that hit me. But I realized afterwards why this was so popular. It's the Exorcist theme song. I didn't realize until after that first part.
That's one reason why I have a problem with it, right? Just because it was just spooky.
Yeah, it is. It's very, it's like, oof.
And then, that's a song you hear at 3:00 in the morning. When I was a kid, right? You hear it at 3:00 in the morning. You're like, well, now I can't sleep.
Right, yeah, there goes that schedule that I had for sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, I know. Actually, I had a cool story I'll share with you. My dad, when he was going to bars back in the day, he was used to go to the Fore and Aft in New York. And one time, Linda Blair came in there a couple times, actually, and nobody would talk to her because she's this big star. She's the one that plays the Exorcist girl there.
Yeah.
And he offered her a drink a couple times, and she'd just sit with him and talk. And she must have been dating one of the guys in one of the bands, but it was just really cool that like nobody would talk to her. My dad's just like, here you go. Because when stars come in, you don't know how to, And I'm the type of guy that. I'll go, that's how I do this podcast. I'll talk to anybody. And if they're rude to me, I just brush it off. I've had one rude experience, but I understand why and how it, and like after I look back, I'm like, okay, I get why.
And I am sorry. I really wasn't meaning to be quite so rude.
Yeah. Right. And now you're here. Yeah. It's all your fault, but it's, what, it was something I understood.
Yeah, the experiences I've had when I've met people who've been famous or semi-famous or whatever have always been really good. But I'm not really good at forcing myself on people.
Well, that's probably why they're probably positive. When you're excitable towards them, they get a weird vibe. I don't know what. So it's
I like being excitable, right?
I do too. Yeah, like it's just who I am, And I know like Ken and John of the Posies took very well to it. They were excited, that was luck for me, and just being good friends with them and becoming that, and then having them added to having somebody else, and then added to having all these people that have now when I post something are liking and commenting. I never thought to this day I'd be hanging out with the Klaatu guys. Like it's just really cool that I could talk with them and just like Terry's a good friend, and I think I almost cried the other day when I always like I've been so happy when people write to me like your show, I really enjoy your show, it's something I listen to and it's something I've enjoyed, and then all of a sudden I get a message from D Long actually saying that I inspired him to get back into music. And I was just like, this is Clat 2. I had to like pinch myself. Am I
very
dreaming
cool.
here? Is this one of those dreams? But I very much big fan of D's, and I even sang on. I sent my voice in. I don't know if it's on the recording, but he had a bunch of people sing for one of his songs, like a chorus at the end where 1 million people were sending voices in, and so I joined in on the train here. So I sent him my vocal take. But it was just
cool.
really cool to have somebody write like that to me, somebody I didn't expect, And that's why I was so upset about Facebook going down yesterday. It was nuts. I'm glad our podcast wasn't yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. I was outside enjoying my day. I was like, shoot.
Yeah, no, it was nice. I was able to get some work done.
Yeah, right.
And, honestly, I didn't even notice until it was, later
What's
in the
funny?
day.
I wouldn't have noticed unless, because I'm not on it that much. I'm on it just to post the radio show, and then when I'm upset, I'm on it 24/7. But not. I've been doing good lately, so. But I went to go post the radio show, the times, and all of a sudden I clicked on Facebook. It said this website cannot be found. 504 error, and I was like, haha, something happened. Because I tried other websites and it was fine. It was like, shoot.
Well, it just was. Yeah, I tried logging in. Something happened. I'm like, well, maybe it's just me. And I went on and did a bunch of stuff. And 7-8 hours later, I came back. It was fine.
Yeah.
But everybody else was saying that they had a horrific day. If your life revolves around Facebook,
yeah, you
and
should have a
Instagram
horrific day then.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sad.
So,
I even somebody posted like this must be the apocalypse or the pandemic of the internet. So I commented underneath, pathetic but true. Like it's sad. Like I'm on it too, so I'm not like admitting that if you're not whatever. I'm on it because I've met so many great people. They kind of Facebook owns my life. I signed a contract when I signed up, But
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I didn't do that, thank goodness.
There you
go. I've got my other things that I need to worry about, right?
Yeah, much more.
I spend way too much money on music. I spend way too much time fiddle farting around with it, and I guess that's my addiction nowadays.
That's just not bad though. It could be worse.
Well, yeah, unless you talk to my wife. How many records can you listen to, Curt?
You want to challenge me? I'm ready. I'm ready.
Hear them all.
All at the same time too. I know the sounds.
Well, every day I listen to a new album.
Awesome.
And I listen to an old album, right?
That's awesome. Yeah.
So I make sure that I hear something new every day, something old every day.
Yeah, so you don't get stuck in the old void, where you the old void.
Yeah, there's a long time before the internet. It was really hard to find good new music. You had to scour the gold mine records
or the local bands that are playing live, and that's all you could try to find if they sound good. But if it was anything out of your usual area, it was like tough to find.
Yeah. So, but you go through, like I said, gold mine or yellow pills or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You scour the old catalogs. I don't. You're too young to probably remember any of that.
I know names, but I never had. Yeah, I'm way too young. Yeah, I'm probably right.
Just looking
if
for
I was
music.
10 years older, I would be like, all right, got you. But
the Illinois Entertainers, that's another one. I used to go through the Illinois the Elvis Brothers. Who are these guys? I need to find out more about these guys, stuff like that. So, they're just the local rags.
Very cool.
They had it in Washington too. So, and then. You go, like I said, you'd sneak in to see Jim Bass Night, but who's opening for Jim Bass Night? Oh, it's the Heaters. Oh, okay. These guys are great too, or the Cowboys, or whatever, right?
I was checking those bands out the other day too, because he mentioned those on his interview too. It was like, oh, these are so good. I was just ready to write Jim and be like, you are awesome, because I love going in, like I think I mentioned this to you before when we first talked. I don't know if I mentioned it just now, but I love to go into my interviews with kind of like like a child that just found out about somebody. I don't like going in with I like to research enough to where I have enough questions to ask, because I don't want to I don't want to drop short. I've had that experience once, and I was just like, I've always felt bad since then because I didn't have enough questions, and I kind of just was like, it's not being lazy, but it was like my idea didn't work at that exact moment. But it usually does work. My formula is to go in kind of with a little bit of research, just to know who the person is, but not to know too much to where they could teach me, and that's what I like doing.
Right.
Because I've learned so much where I just listen.
And Vance Knight's a wealth of knowledge, man.
Yeah.
He's been around for so darn long that he's just a great guy. I'm looking forward to his book that's coming out. Did he talk to you about that?
He did, and I told him he could come back on to talk about the book as well.
Yeah,
I'm really excited about that.
That ought to be pretty good too. Everybody loves the blues, and Sonny was one of those guys that I think everybody would be really interested in finding out more about.
Yeah, even my dad was like, I know who that is. He was like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was, because I asked him, and he goes, oh, yeah, big time. He goes, I'm definitely interested in reading it.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a pretty good writer. I think he was a sports writer for a little while.
Yeah.
And the guy can write. He can write music for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So
I really love, and I love the Rebel Kind, which I found out wasn't his original. I guess it's a cover.
Nope.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a cover.
It's such a good cover. It's one of the ones that I was like, I've enjoyed that song, but I'll have to listen to more of his stuff. I've been deep diving now. It's like, I've found my new addiction is like, once I talk to an artist, like I deep dive in it. I'm like, here we go. Because you get excited once you talk to somebody, and if they're really kind, it makes it boost up a million, and he's a super cool dude and super kind. And he was really fun to interview, and I felt bad with this week with trying to like figure everything out with postponing stuff, and I'm like, I just gotta do it. Like tomorrow I got a surgery, so I'm like, I can't postpone anything anymore. I just need to get all this stuff finished before and everything. So trying to figure all this stuff out. Too young to have all these surgeries, but I'm figuring it out. Life is weird, but
well, hopefully everything goes well tomorrow.
Yeah, just a simple kind of just to check my stomach out. So hopefully good.
Okay.
I think I'm fine, but it's just like I want to make sure. And then I got my work. My work is like, I work concerts, I do parking, and I also do ushering, and it's really fun. I did Korn and Stained the other night. I was exhausted. I'm going to see Brian Wilson because my boss was like, I texted my boss, and he was like, if you work that day, we'll get you Brian Wilson tickets. I was like, thank you very much.
Exactly.
Brian is worth anything. I will go out in the cold for Brian. Yeah, I love Brian Wilson. So. Yeah,
no, he's a great guy. I love the Beach Boys. This is going to be heresy, but I'm more of a Beach Boys fan than the Beatles, and probably even more of a Rolling Stones fan. But
I can see it.
I love the Beatles. Don't get me wrong. I do love the Beatles, but I connect more with the Beach Boys and the Rolling Stones.
I like. I'm the same way. Like I fell in the category of loving the Who too much. The Who has been my like.
You can never love them enough.
No, I know it's like
never love them enough.
The Who was what I always explain as like the classic three is the Stones, the Beatles, and the Who. That was always my music idea. Then you had all the bands around them, like the Beach Boys, Hendrix, all the different stuff groups around that time. But like for me, it's like you always heard the Beatles, the Beach Boys, and the Stones, or the Beatles, the Who, and the Stones. But I love ever since I heard the Beach Boys, it's been an addiction. I have most of the original records on mono. I have a Pet Sounds in mono that I am very happy to own. I got it for like $8 at flea market, and I was super excited because I know it's way worth more than that.
Yeah, no, I got it from my mom as a gift when I was a little kid.
Very
cool. It was in mono, so
that's awesome. As I have the reissue, and I still love listening to the original mono. The reissue is nice. The Capitol reissue is really good, but it's just having a mono record. It's history. I always, it's not just the music, it's the history that the record, you never know whose house that record was in. You never know.
Exactly.
There's a story behind just the record.
All my Beatles albums are in mono, right? Up until
that's awesome.
The White Album, I think, and that's when they started doing them in stereo.
That's awesome.
But I have the American Beatles, Meet the Beatles, Beatles' second album, and Something New. Those are the ones I have, but they're all mono.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, sometimes I really like mono. I think they were kind of farting around with stereo a little too much, and they were getting too heavy on one side and not heavy enough on another.
I always like putting the mono switch on. I used to have a Lafayette player that had a mono switch with my setup. I still
okay.
have the player because I just love vintage audio stuff.
Cool.
But it was starting to burn out. You could hear it, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna go to a Philips stereo setup that's like all new, an Audio Technica player, which is fine. But I missed the nice warm sound of the Lafayette. And it was just, the Lafayette had that mono switch, and I noticed a huge difference. The Beatles did try to mess with stereo stuff in mono. They did try to do this really unique stuff. Same with the Beach Boys, too. They were always kind of like one-upping each other, and I love it.
They did. You know, Brian Wilson's deaf in one ear, so he always produces everything in mono.
Yeah.
But, you know, they kind of did, but actually most of the stereo stuff, I think, was done outside of their purview. By Capitol Records or something like that, and
probably George Martin,
or Jeff Emmerich, maybe.
Yeah, yep.
It would probably be more Emmerich. With maybe George Martin.
The unspoken hero was Emmerich. You couldn't really hear much about him. It was always Martin. There's a lot of really good Beatles, Beatles.
George Martin was brilliant.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, but a lot of guys kind of fiddle farted around with. A stereo. The Kinks kind of did a little bit, and I think, you know, with the advent of guys like Hendrix and stuff like that, you know, stereo, they truly used stereo like they could.
Yeah.
And you know, he was a guy who used the studio probably one of the first to use it properly for stereo recordings.
Yeah, and then you got Pink Floyd jumping to quadraphonic with like the 4, and I was like, whoa, what are they? It's like so much cool things you could do with sound. And I was like, oh my god.
My folks gave my older brother a quadraphonic stereo, and dude, I bought Dark Side of the Moon in quadraphonic. My big brother's the guy who listens to show tunes, right? So he didn't care. He just had the speakers set up. It didn't matter, right? One day he wasn't going to be home, and you know, I set his speakers up, and I sat right in the middle of his room and started playing Dark Side of the Moon. It was so great.
Oh, that's got to be amazing. Because that was quadraphonic was the start of surround sound, right? That's like the
kind of pretty much is as close to surround sound as you can get. Yeah,
I love
you know, it's 4 speakers, and you know, you can discern all those speakers, right? And you know what's coming from where, as long as you're set up properly in the room. Like I said, he listened to show tunes, so he didn't really care. And you know, Bobby Sherman and
I don't think
you know. And the Partridge Family and those guys,
Family,
just, you know,
and,
what does it matter?
Man. I listen to the Partridge Family and quadraphonic, man. Cheech and Chong all the way, man. I see sound with these guys.
Oh man!
I have a couple Beach Boys that actually have quadraphonic on top of them.
Oh, pretty cool.
Yeah, I just more of a collector's thing because I don't have a quadraphonic stereo, but it's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Beach Boys are pretty awesome. You should get to the Kinks.
I need to.
The Kinks are pretty cool.
I love. I do really love Village Green. That one.
The Village Green Preservation Society.
Yeah, I need to. That one was. Yeah. I was introduced to that because the Vapor Trails. Keith Robertson did like a cover, and then I was like, oh, this is a sweet album. So I checked it out. Or Kevin, not Keith. Is it Kevin? Keith? I always get his name. He's gonna kill me. It's the guy from the Vapor Trails. Let me 1 second. It is. It's Kevin.
Robertson.
Yeah, it's Kevin Robertson. All right, sorry, Kevin. I did it. I screwed up on your name. I love the Vapor Trails too. When I first heard them, I thought the Meat Puppets like were going back to the old style. That's what I was. This is awesome.
Yeah, I like the Vapor Trails. They're pretty good. I guess his son, young guy, 18, 19 years old, something like that, is the guitarist for that group, and they sound fantastic. Are you there?
I am there. I'm looking up something. I wanted to make sure I had the right names.
I lost you for a second.
Oh, no. And I also like, the first Kinks album is great. The Kinks' Greatest Hits album is great. That's the one I have on vinyl. That's actually, it really is a greatest hits. And then the one I'm trying to, the Misfits one is another one.
Misfits is pretty good,
yeah. The cover. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while, but I had to think there. I was trying to look it up, and then my phone wasn't loading. I was like, but the Kinks, man. I love all. I love that the whole thing about them slashing the amps and everything. Like, it's a great story, and it's a great way that they proved that they wanted their own sound, and I think that's incredible.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's kind of the same way as like Roger McGuinn got with the Byrds, right?
Oh yeah.
So he had a fantastic sound too that everybody emulates now, from Tom Petty to the Plimsolls to.
No, as soon as you hear a Rickenbacker 12 string, you're like, the Byrds. There's no mistaking it.
Yeah, and just the way that they feedback and everything. Yeah, the Byrds and so many bands came out of that band too.
That's so good.
Firefall, the Flying Burrito Brothers.
They're great. They're actually, a lot of people don't know them too, and I discovered them. I was like, oh.
Oh yeah. Even Stephen Stills was, spent some time working with Chris Hillman and stuff like
legendary
that.
Legendary guitarist right there.
Yeah, and you can hear, the Byrds' influence in just about everything for years and years and years. That's another great band that I love listening to.
It's
all
like
the time.
Echo in the Canyon, but more like Echo from the Byrds. But I don't know.
Or Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah.
So that's one of my favorite bands.
They are great.
I love those guys. So
I got into them because I love The Cure, and then I was just like, oh, I might listen to them a little bit more. But I love The Cure too.
The Cure, I dig The Cure. The '80s had a really cool sound where they gated the drums and everything else. Phil Collins is a prime example of gated drums. In the air tonight. Ba-da. Right, that's the gated. So they did that. The synthesizers, right? Tears for Fears. Blancmange. There are a ton of really good '80s bands that were that were there. The Fix. I really like them.
Oh, The Fix is great.
Yeah, they are great. Modern English. If we're talking just like a total '80s sound, stuff like that.
I'm trying to remember the other band that's not The Fix. There's a band that I like really a lot that Madonna covered, and it wasn't hers original, and then I'm trying to remember the name of it, and it's bothering me. They're great. Talk. There we go.
Oh, Talk. I
is
love that.
great.
Yeah, it's My Life. That's a great album. I really like that. Depeche Mode, right?
Yeah, and It's My Life wasn't. I think it wasn't Madonna. It was Gwen Stefani and No Doubt. That's who it was.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Oh, okay. Well, I never listened to her.
Yeah, I there was one version that I've heard more, and then I was like, I like the original. I love Talk. They're great.
Yeah, I don't mind a guy if they can do a really good cover.
Yeah.
The new album that's coming out from the Gripweeds is all covers.
Ooh.
But they do a fantastic. I was just listening to that before I got on with you. And they do a really fantastic. It's not out till the 12th of November.
I'll have to hear that when it comes out. Remind me.
Yeah.
I will definitely be if you remember. Hey, remind me if you remember. I love doing that to people. Like, hey, it's your job now. No.
Yeah.
Only kidding.
Well, the Gripweeds, they're near you, right? They're New Jersey. You're Connecticut.
Yeah.
So you guys are next door neighbors.
That's a play them on my show too, because I know the name. I've heard a bunch of their stuff. So.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. If you haven't heard them, you need to. They're just a really great band. I don't know. You talk power pop, right? We were talking Plimsolls.
Yeah, Plimsolls, the Nerves, all
the producers are pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Of course, the Beat, Paul Collins and the Beat.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah,
I actually Paul Collins had him added on Facebook, but then his account got messed with when they had like the Facebook hackings and stuff. So I de-added him, and now I'm trying to re-add him, and he's not accepting. And I'm like, oh no.
I don't think he's accepting anybody right now.
I don't think he's on Facebook at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Paul Collins is awesome.
Yeah, definitely. New album you should check out is the On and Ons.
Okay, that I have not heard.
They're pretty cool. That just came out on Friday.
Then I definitely haven't heard that.
They're pretty good.
I'll have to definitely check that out.
And, there's a ton of really great new stuff, ton of great old stuff. On my show this week, I'm pretty much doing all new music, right?
Yeah.
Nothing old this week. No hidden gems.
Yeah, I like to do that.
Like
I do the similar thing where a couple episodes will be all hidden gems and oldies, and then it'll be a couple shows of full on new stuff. And
Yeah, I kind of like to mix it up most of the
Yeah.
time, but this week there's just so much that's out that's new, that's so good that
it speaks for itself.
yeah, absolutely.
I was reading John Borak's new book too. I got it. I signed copy bought from him. It was the Power Pop rankings and stuff. So there's a lot of good albums in there that I was discovering, including 2020 and stuff that I've never heard of that I need to hear. Like these are like the classics, and the Posies are actually Dear 23 is listed in there. So I was very happy to hear that because that's a classic to me.
well, no, I like the Posies a lot. That's good power pop.
Definitely Dear 23 without a doubt.
I think we had talked about this before. Where, power pop kind of touches a little bit of everything.
It does. Oh yeah. It's a feeling.
Indie music. Yeah, it touches indie music. Everything. There's all kind of, just flat out rock and roll. It kind of touches into that. New wave music. There's just so much that that you could call because you call Cheap Trick power pop, right? Which is
I would. Yeah.
Maybe sometimes more power than pop. Or the Knack, right? Or then you get into 2020, which is more of a new wave sound, or Joe Jackson. Is Joe Jackson new wave? Is Joe Jackson, rock and roll? Is he power pop? Yes. The answer to that is yes.
Yeah, it's great, and it's great that we could because I would consider like Big Star, power pop as well.
Yeah, Big Star. Absolutely.
It's such a wide range of a genre that it's really cool.
Right.
Yeah, it's called Shake Some Action 2.0. That's the book that John came out with.
I got it 1970 to 2017.
Yeah, we both got it. Yeah, as soon as it came out, I was like, I'm getting this because I like John, and I've been a big fan of his writing, and it's on Not Lame Publishing, which is a great record label.
Yep.
So I like that.
Yep. Well, I got to meet John a couple of weeks ago at IPO in
that's
Arlington.
How was
pretty
that?
nice guy.
A friend of mine
it
actually
was a lot
went
of fun.
as well. Other than you, I know you're a friend of mine that went. A radio host, Dave the Boogeyman, he went.
Dave the Boogeyman.
Yeah,
yep. I saw him too.
Oh, very cool.
He was working the merchandise table.
Awesome.
Like I said, I don't like to push myself on a lot of people. Went
Yeah.
around, introduced myself to a bunch of guys. Spent some time with Lanny Flowers and Danny Wilkerson.
Two of my favorites.
That was
We
really
played those
cool.
on my show. I played those two.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I love
Lanny
those
is
two Big Star fans.
yeah, he's a great guy. I drove up to Arlington from Waco, which is about an hour and a half, and I'm like, well, I gotta, I should probably take off, and and he's like, no, wait, you got to see the next band, and it was Borak's band, the Unused Electrics or something like that, but they were really great, and they were thumping and they were loud, and I'm glad I stayed.
That's awesome.
And then I'm like, okay, well, I gotta take off now. He's like, no, you got to come over to the after party. I'm like, okay, all right. By this time it's midnight. I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to get home till 1:30 or so, but I'll stay for a while. I ended up staying for for longer than a while.
Lifetime, man.
It was like 4.
It's a good
It's
experience.
like 4:00 when I came dragging myself into the.
Nah, it's worth it. I know.
But it was worth it. It was worth the price just to drive up and see Lanny.
Yeah.
He was great. He did a lot of stuff off of his most recent album.
Very cool.
And he said it was the first time he'd ever performed it, and it sounded great.
That's awesome. I would love to have been. Actually, Dave was asking me if I was going because he goes, "There's going to be one in New York. Are you coming?" I'm like, "Hopefully, I would like."
You should go to the one in New York for sure.
Definitely, because I want to meet Bash too. Because I want to get my name out there for him to see who I am. He knows who I am already. All of Big Star knows who I am, but they all know me. They all love the show, and they all actually. David Bash is the reason why I got a Psych shirt. I asked him how he gets his shirts, and he told me, so I bought one for myself. So it was perfect because he always wears the stylishest freaking Psych shirts, and I'm like, where do you get those?
I'm not that cool. I can't pull those off, right?
I'm a big guy, and I pulled it off. Anyone can.
I'm a big guy too. I'm like 6'3" and 250 pounds. So, but I don't look pretty, and I'm afraid I'm just not the right guy to be wearing cool ass shirts like that.
I'm looking at the cover of this Shake Some Action. I just realized there's a Ruddles pin on there. No, that's why I was laughing.
Oh yeah,
there's a Ruddles pin.
Exactly.
Oh, that's cool.
I think the Toms are on the cover, and the Late Show.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Definitely
Yeah,
peruse
I
that
love that I
book,
could
go
go into
through
this, and it's not just like, it's a read to know history of songs, but then you got albums you could listen to, and you're like, oh, if I'm bored and I need an album to listen to, here we go.
Yeah, and Boric writes pretty well on that.
Yeah.
He writes very well on this, and he gives you pretty good descriptors, and
A good way to
makes
do
you
stories too.
if you hadn't heard them, makes you kind of want to go out and dig them up. And that's a definite must for any power pop fan.
Oh yeah, I'll be as soon as I knew he came out, I didn't get the first one. I was right on top of getting the second one.
Yeah, so you definitely the first one I got a copy of, the second one I got a copy. The first one came with a couple of CDs, which was pretty cool.
Very cool.
And then the second one I got, of course, I got his updated one, and I picked up his John Lennon book and a couple other things too. So
very.
So yeah, no, he's a pretty prolific author, and I could barely put two sentences together. So to me, it's amazing that you can put together a full book.
I would love to write, and it's like I have so many ideas in my head, but if I'm going to try to write them down on paper, it goes out the door. Yet I'm a music writer, so I don't understand it. I still haven't figured that out yet. I can write songs like nobody's business, but go to try to write a story, even if it's about myself, my experiences, it sounds like some 8-year-old just wrote this. It's just terrible. But it's
yours sound that good, huh?
Oh no. Oh yeah, wait.
Mine
Some
don't
8-year-olds
sound
are
quite that
probably
good.
pretty good, I guess. I raid at a 5th grade level, So
Yeah, exactly.
Curt, it was great to have you on today. I was glad that we finally caught
fantastic.
up, and glad we got to talk again. I would love to have you on again, maybe to talk some of the if we do band chats. I think I mentioned last time. We try to do
anytime,
and we'd love to have you on. I know Jim Bastite was interested in coming on again. So maybe
Yeah,
we'll
absolutely.
do something with all of us. That'd be cool.
Yeah, no, that'd be a lot of
awesome.
fun.
We just talk power pop.
anytime. But I'll talk anything with your music, right?
Sweet.
Anything
Yeah,
except...
message me anytime. I'm always down to chat with anybody.
so-
Some days are lonely,
Yeah.
Message me, please. But no, seriously, I love that we're both on the same radio station now, and it's great to have another friend on there, and it's just awesome to be able... Well, I've been having a tough time trying to get these shows out because I've been so busy, but it's a push.
Yep.
Everybody on there.
Well, busy is good.
Busy is good. It really is, and push to keep the show coming, and people love the show. And I thought nobody, would listen, and there's a lot of response. So it's really cool that I'm hoping, and I think I see a lot of people excited for your show now that they're excited to hear you on the radio.
Right.
It's really cool. Some of the people probably feel like I was part of that in the beginning.
Most people are like, thank goodness I don't have to pay to hear him. Right? But I do like his music. So.
Yeah, and hey, it's good music choices, of course. Hey,
Yeah.
I don't
I
like paying
appreciate
for
that.
radio either. But I like indie radio though. I'm tired of listening to mainstream radio. That's my statement. And
yeah.
the end of the night here.
There you go. The end of the night. That's why God created the MP3 player.
Right?
Well, it's been a lot of fun talking with
Yeah.
you. I know we're under the gun here for time.
You're tuned into Mad Wasp Radio, so don't forget where you are. Don't change that dial, you don't need to anyway.